All right, so we're now ready to take our coon off our board. So the first thing you want to do is get a paper towel or a piece of newspaper or any kind of cloth and just rub the coon down. Get all any grease or fat that's running, any oil that's running down. Just get it all wiped off. Make sure it's nice and dry. And you're gonna want to do this when it's hanging up and drying too. So every day or so, as the coon is hanging up and drying, take your cloth and wipe it down so that any of that extra fat and grease that's running down comes off easier, and it'll dry a little bit better and a little bit quicker. So then we're just gonna start by pulling out the pins, and you know, as you can see, it's good and dry. It's been hanging for about a week, a little over a week, and that should be plenty. If it's properly fleshed, that should be plenty long to get it dry. So we'll pull the belly board out there, flip it over, pull our pins out on the other side, and we'll get a real good look at it here in a minute so you can see how nice and clean everything is. So just finish pulling out these pins. Be careful when you get to the end of the tail. Sometimes the pin will get stuck in the tail. If you pull it up real quick, it might rip. So I always, when I pull the pin out, I twist it a little bit, just swivel it back and forth, and that breaks it loose, and that way it doesn't get caught in there. So now we got all the pins out. So when you pull it off, you don't want to grab down here and rip, you know, you might accidentally rip it when you're trying to pull if it's tight. What I like to do is grab it by the head, just like this, and push down so it kind of presses the wedge out, and slide the board right out. So just like that, we've got that done. Now you can see how you know it's dry when everything feels dry, but if the tail stays stiff, if the tail bends and flops down like this, that means it's probably not dry yet. So if the tail stays nice and stiff like that, you know, it's sticking out pretty good, that means it's dry. So as you can see, the arms didn't leave huge holes. They're cut about the perfect length. And if we're gonna look real closely, you don't see any white clumps of fat anywhere. So that's how you know you got it good and clean. And the tail isn't white anymore. The tail will be the last place to dry. So when there's no white fat left in there, that's how you know it's gonna be dry. Same with the belly, all very nice and clean. So now that we got it off the board, I'll flip it over here, and we'll just rough this fur up a little bit. Fluff it up, get it nice and fluffy looking. Just rub your fingers in there, because when the fur buyer is buying your fur, they're gonna just look at the fur just like this, maybe feel in there, feel the density. So that's why you want to get this nice and fluffed up. So next we'll take my comb, and I like to get it brushed nicely. Get underneath the flanks and just brush it out so it's laying flat. And then come on the flank side, rough it up with your comb, and then comb it out. Comb it up here. You can see, I'll do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna come in here, brush it out, and then comb it out. So when we flip back over, it'll be sticking into the inspection window. So I'm just gonna come around and brush it so it's into the inspection window. That shows the fur buyer all of the hair that's gonna be on the belly side. You know, they're gonna be able to see how thick the fur on the belly side is, and if you do that, it makes it look thicker. It makes it look like there's more fur on there. You know, it really pops out, you know, what they're saying. So as you can see, it's real nice the way that fur is popping out of there. So now I just shake it a little bit, just so it's naturally fluffed, and you can see that fur is just nice and plump sticking out of there. If we break it up like that, it looks real nice. That's how you want it to be presented. Now, if there's any little bits of fat in the fur from when you were fleshing, just make sure you comb them out or pick them out. Make sure everything looks real nice, and that's done. That is a perfectly dry raccoon, ready to be sold. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them below. But now I like to just hang them up. I've got some fur hangers. I just stick them through the eye and let it hang. But I also, if you're worried that they're not quite dry, if everything's real dry but maybe the tail's not dry, go lay them on a rack. I got a chicken wire rack that I just lay fur on when I've got too much. I can just lay it on there and it'll still dry perfectly straight, just like you know, nice and flat. So as you can see, it looks very nice. Store it and it's ready to be sold. All right, thanks for watching.